Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to One Salad a Day. Today, I am going to make stuffed bell peppers. It's been cold outside. We had a lot of snow. I don't really feel like having just a cold salad, so the peppers will be a nice warm touch. Now, here's how to make two kinds of stuffed bell pepper. We're going to start the tutorial. I hope you follow with me. It's going to be delicious. The first thing I've done, I've sliced the peppers in two. I just halved them. I put 1 drop of oil and spread it around. You really don't need much. And I went ahead, put them in the oven at 350 for about 15 to 30 minutes. I know that's a big gap, just keep an eye on them. And I also made some quinoa, just very basic recipe in the Instapot. I do 1 cup of quinoa and I rinse it really well. That's the important step. You always want to rinse your quinoa, even if it says already rinsed quinoa. And then I put 1.25 cups of water. So I cooked that and let it sit. I did put a bay leaf in there just for a little added flavor. So we have the basic ingredients ready. The other things I did ahead, I had some cooked beans. You could use canned. So I have chickpeas for the Mediterranean version, and I have black beans for the Mexican version. So let's get cooking. The first thing I'm gonna do is a step that I typically skip. I'm notorious for never sauteing my onions. I throw everything in the Instapot and I just let it rip. But today I will cook the onions because I don't want them to be too sharp, and I'm not sure how long my peppers will go into the oven. So I want to make sure that onions are softened a little bit. So it's about 1/2 cup of onions. And I put a little bit of water, and I'm water sauteing. A lot of people like to use oil. I prefer to cook without the oil. That's a personal preference. I think it's better. So that's gonna take about 2 minutes, and when they start to being translucent, I'll know that it's ready, and we will mix them along with the rest of our ingredients. So my onions are cooking. I'm gonna get started with the Mediterranean peppers. That's a mouthful. The first thing I do is I will rinse my chickpeas. Give it a good rinse. As usual, I'm not measuring, but I will eyeball like that. I will lower my onions. Here are the onions. They are ready. You see they lost some color. They could go a little longer, but I don't really want to brown them. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some to my mixture. So we have chickpeas. Now we got half the onions. I'm saving the other half. And I'm putting some quinoa. Nothing is too specific. Let's give that a stir and see how that looks. I will add some fresh tomatoes. Maybe I should oregano. A pinch of dill to make it real Mediterranean. Whoops, there it comes. Those, by the way, are delicious. I don't have any affiliation. I'm not a sponsor or anything, but I do like those freeze-dried herbs. They really keep their flavor and their crunch. They feel so fresh. And here's the pepper. Good old pepper. Goes good with everything. And that should do it. I will just stuff that into my peppers quickly. And when we're ready to eat, I will put them in the oven. But it doesn't need it even to be cooked anymore. You could eat it just like that. You could put it in your pepper and eat it cold with your salad if you want to pack it for lunch. That's a good alternative. So if I was to pack it with a lunch, I would bring it cold. so that I don't wilt my salad. I will finish the stuffing. Nicely packed. And for a little extra crunch and Mediterranean flair and great antioxidant, I will add some walnuts. The thing I like about walnuts, they're high on essential omega-3 acid, fatty acid that are excellent for your brain or your skin. They add a little punch of protein and a lot of flavor. That's probably too much for 3 small peppers, but as you can tell, as they roast, the flavor will intensify. And that's the Mediterranean version here. You could add a sprinkle of yeast if you like a cheesy flavor. Half of my family loves it, half of my family doesn't love it, so I'll let them put their own. That way we don't have any problem. I will leave those plain. The last thing I'm going to put, and that's totally optional, the last thing I'm putting on my pepper is basil and parsley. I just happened to have those, so I figured it out. I thought, why not? I will give it a little green pop, but don't stop yourself from making a recipe because you don't have an ingredient. Here I tried to add as many G-bombs as possible. Green, beans, onions, mushroom, berries, and seeds and nuts. And as you can tell, I didn't manage to put the berries in there or the mushrooms. I didn't have any mushrooms, and I just thought that the berries wouldn't work well. But you can have those on the side. And here I'm adding some greens. And voila. Now I'm ready to make my Mexican version. I cleaned up my station a little bit. And we are starting with some black beans. Those are just cooked black beans. You can have cans. If you use can, make sure you rinse them on the water to get rid of that salt. And here, the second ingredient, just like the last time, I'm adding quinoa. So very similar recipe. That's why it's easy to make both of them at the same time. That probably is enough. Let's give it a mix. That should do. And for the Mexican flair, instead of tomatoes, I've decided to add some salsa. I do like frog ranch because it's low in sodium, but feel free to use your favorite. You could probably try even green salsa with that. That would work out too. Some of our pre-cooked onions. They don't want to come out. Let's use all of them. So we have nice whole grains, beans that will satisfy you. All that fiber will keep you full for a long time, and it will keep your sugar and your insulin leveled. So that's a really good thing to eat if you have a problem with that. Cumin for the staying on with our theme of Mexican food. A little bit of coriander. If you had some fresh cilantro, that would be delicious in there as well. I think that's all I'm going to put in here. So I will grab my peppers and just like last time, fill them up. And we'll take a look at how it looks. So this is how I wrap it up. Same method as the Mediterranean pepper. So the Mexican pepper gets filled with the black beans, the quinoa, all the good spices. I will even put them in the same baking dish, no problem. That way, pick your favorite. Here. And a green one. I think the green one goes really well. Remember to serve your Mexican version of the peppers with some avocados. It always adds so much flavor. Delicious. You could probably try poblanos which are a long Mexican pepper, a little bit spicier. So that'd be a nice variation on that if you like to try. So my peppers are ready. I will also serve the extra filling on the side if anybody wants to eat that. And I have a little trick that I want to share. When I cook, I tend to, let me just wash my hands. There we go. Okay. When I cook, I always tend to chop a little bit more than what I need. So let me explain. If I have a recipe that calls for half an onion, I always cut the whole onion because then it's ready for my salad. That's what I did. Now in my salad, I got some mixed greens and arugula. Always make sure to include some cruciferous vegetables in everything you eat. It's such a great cancer protectant. Like, you should really eat it with every meal. The onions, also very powerful. I know I say that almost each video, but I cannot stress the importance of eating cruciferous vegetable and all these wonderful, wonderful foods that can help and protect your body. So there's the leftover tomatoes. I made too many for the recipe, so it's perfect, and you get your salad ready. This is a perfect lunch for a big family like us, but you could eat that many days in a row for lunch. You just wouldn't need to cook them any longer, and that is ready. But as for us, we're gonna have them hot for this cold day, so I'm gonna put them in the oven until they're warm because they're already cooked. But when I'm happy with how warm they are, I'll take them out and we're gonna dig in. Thank you very much, and come back next time on One Salad a Day to cook something new and delicious.